On the Capitol grounds, they chanted "Northam out," referencing Virginia's Democratic governor. Ahead of today's demonstration, the governor declared a state of emergency and banned all weapons on Capitol grounds. But outside that secured area, many demonstrators were heavily armed. Look at them. They look like soldiers.
What you talking about, man? Spit that monkey shit, nigga. We gorillas, nigga. Ape don't kill ape. Yo. Spit that real shit, nigga. I Chewbacca the chicken, chin checking your chest. Get chop cam, God stand by the booth from the camp. I'm proving I can. I'm proving you fake. Like you moving them grams. A Peruvian flake.
Well, I'll tell you what, folks. I told you nothing was going to pop the fuck off and nothing was going to pop off. You know, it is what it is. Like, I know what everybody expected, but you know the situation. All right. So what happened yesterday? Basically, here's what goes on. Governments, progressives, leaders, what they do is they push forward a little bit until people push back. People push back, and then, you know what I mean, they find a new line in the ground, and then they push forward again. And what you're going to find out is they're going to use this event to stand here and go, oh, well, you know, white supremacists and Nazis aren't allowed to have guns. So we're going to have to do checks to see if you're white supremacists and Nazis first. And people are going to go, oh, well, white supremacists and Nazis shouldn't have guns. Well, let's be honest here. You know what I mean? It's complete bullshit. Apparently, they arrested 3 white supremacists who were supposed to be heading to this, you know what I mean, Second Amendment rally. I don't really understand why. Like, if you want to be a white supremacist, that's your business. You know, like, your opinion is your opinion. But again, you know what I mean, they're trying very, very hard to move the needle and move the Overton window more towards what more matches their metropolitan style. So let's check out this video and, you know what I mean, see what the news media is saying about this. And by the way, this was number 1. This was the first video that popped up when I looked up the Virginia Second Amendment rally.
Soldiers there, some wearing body armor, and there are fears there could be violence, particularly from white extremists. Last week, the FBI arrested 3 alleged white supremacists who plan to attend today's rally. Those are them there. CNN Sarah Seidner joins us now.
Again, we kind of get back to, like, why did they arrest those 3 white supremacists who were planning on attending this? I mean, short of like some terroristic threats type of shit, I really don't understand what being a white supremacist really has to do with anything in general. Like, again, like, this is the United States of America. We're not supposed to have thought police. Maybe that's the reason that Amazon took the 1984 off their, you know what I mean, website. It's a possibility, you know what I mean? This is why I be, you know what I mean, trying to tell y'all, get the books while you can get them, folks. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, the new boss is just like the old boss. You know what I mean? The church burned books. Guess what? These progressives are going to burn books if they don't like to, because they ain't nothing more than the arm of the church, just without the deity.
Sarah, so far, no sign of violence. What are you hearing on the ground? You're speaking to people there. How do you see the day playing out?
Look, before this rally began, there was certainly worry from law enforcement who, after those arrests of members of a group called the Base, who are neo-Nazis who want to basically create complete havoc and sort of disarm governments. What you are seeing here is a scene of thousands, not hundreds, perhaps tens of thousands of people. So far, it has been very quiet. They are all here for one single reason, and that is they do not like having their rights when it comes to guns in any way stopped. And they've been looking at what's happening in this legislature. I want to give you kind of a scene here. Now, you'll remember that the Democrats took over here in Virginia, and they now have control, and they have passed 3 bills that restrict gun access.
Now, I'm not real sure why this cameraman tightened in on this sign. I mean, I guess, like, the cameraman was told by the CNN producers, you know what I mean, sitting in the van or whatever the case might be, like, you know, tighten in on that sign, show violence. But that's actually, you know what I mean, a quote, right, from, I'm pretty sure it was Jefferson. It was either Jefferson or Adams or Payne, one of the 3. I forget which one it was, but it says, the tree of liberty must be watered, from time to time with the blood of tyranny, blood of patriots and tyrants. And here's the rest of it: for it is its natural manure. right? Which most people actually leave out, you know what I mean? But I think that's kind of important too, you know what I mean? Because like you have to understand that, you know, all governments and all societies are formed out of revolutions and violence. Just kind of is what it is, you know. You don't really form a government or any, there's never been a government, there's never been a state that was ever formed without violence. Like it's just a fact of life. So, you know, that tends to be how it operates. So, but anyway, yeah, and like you see these individuals walking around, they got the body armor on, they got the magazines, they have the, you know, I mean, they're M16s or AR-15s or whatever the case might be strapped across them. And these are military vets, you know, and there's military vets, militias. This is Virginia. Virginia's a special place when it comes down to guns and things of this nature. Like they're the beginning of the South, so they take a lot of pride in them being the South, because the rest of the South is like, you're not really South, you don't have barbecue, you know, and things of this nature. They always get their chops busted over that. So, you know, yeah, you know, like how do I put this, man? I'm not surprised that CNN doesn't get the situation, all right, and that these anchors at CNN don't understand any of this, you know. And by the way, let me say, they're about to interview a dude. Yo, look, seriously, stop letting the dumb people talk to the camera. Real shit. If you're in a group, you know what I'm saying? Like if you're at a rally and you hear some dumb individual talking to the news, like, yo, stop him from talking. You know what I mean? Because, like, legitimately, that's not where it should be. Like, real shit. Like, we should probably have the more articulate of us. You know what I mean? I'm not even saying me. Like, because I'm just likable and charismatic. I'm not super well spoken, and I know this. Like, it is what it is. But anyway, we're gonna keep going.
One of them is you can only buy one gun a month. You have to get your guns, you have to basically get background checks, even if you're doing a person-to-person, so a private gun sale. And they've given local governments the option to quell guns, and when they have something like a permitted rally or some sort of permitted event, they can restrict guns. So those are the three laws that have passed. There's a lot of folks here that don't like what they're hearing, and they are very concerned that their Second Amendment rights are going to be infringed upon. You will see folks here who are armed to the teeth, and you will see folks here who are just walking around. They're not armed. They are here to support, you know, the folks that are here. But you've got everyone from ex-Army members, Marines, to people who are currently serving, to law enforcement who are here, who are saying that they are very upset with what's happened with the governor and with this legislature. However, the people voted this group of folks in, who are now in control. The citizens of Virginia voted this group of folks in, and they ran on some of these, sort of gun control measures.
Well, let's be real here. Virginia's like the rest of the states in this nation. They have a growing population of individuals who live inside of the cities, places like Richmond, and especially in places like Alexandria and up towards D.C., down in Roanoke and in Suffolk, where there are areas of concentrated population, which tends to always lead towards communistic and leftward thinking. All right. This is the argument in every state in the nation right now, is that the people who don't live in the cities are screaming at the top of their lungs, going, we don't want to be represented by the fucking cities. We don't want the cities constantly outvoting us and, you know what I mean, taking away our rights and the things that we want and changing the ways we live on a regular basis just because they have more fucking people. Like, and this has been a problem forever. Like, this is why, like, there should probably be like an electoral college or something inside of these cities, like, legitimately, or inside of the states. Like, there has to be a way to deal with this, you know, because, like, this shit is complete and utter fucking bullshit. And I completely agree. Like, I started a petition on whitehouse.gov to give Philadelphia to New Jersey. Like, yo, that was probably like, shit, that was back in the Obama days. You know what I mean? Like, probably like 2013, something like that. It was a while back. But anyway, we're going to keep banging on. We're going to watch this guy get interviewed.
I did get a chance to speak with a gentleman named Manny Vega. He is from Richmond, and he told us what he thought about what Governor Northam and this legislature has done, and he told us why he was here as well.
This government here in Richmond has usurped the Constitution of the United States. All we want to do,
like, real shit. Like, why the fuck does fucking the news do this shit all the time? Not only does the news do this, but like any place that does interviews, like a Daily Show or whatever the case might be, they cut it up to make the person look as absolutely bad as fucking possible. First off, sir, the word is usurped. All right, it's not usurped, it's usurped. All right, that's how you say that word. Secondly, I mean, like, dude, you notice, like, you notice the cut, like it cut and then it went to something else completely. Like, this is. Let people argue their fucking point. Let them finish their fucking sentence and their thought. Let them go through the process so the rest of us can understand what they're saying. All right? This is fucking nonsense, and it's terrible for our democracy that you make us look like fucking hillbilly and Brett Hicks every time you fucking do the goddamn news, because you take the worst of what we say. Like, I hate you people. I really, really hate you individuals.
Just to be able to defend ourselves, not only from, violent criminals, but from a government that would usurp the Constitution as well.
So, you hear what he says about that, and there's a lot of people that feel that way. He said he doesn't mind some measures to control guns, but he says, for the most part, that the government should stay out of that realm because of the Second Amendment. And you do have folks here from all over the country. You have folks from Ohio, from Georgia, from Arkansas, lots of folks here, and so far, a peaceful rally. Jim?
Well, in this comment there, you appear to be saying the right to use guns against the government, if in his view it's violating the Constitution. Good to have you there, Sarah Seidner. Right. Thanks very much.
Yeah, that's what it's there for. That's like that Second Amendment makes all the rest of the amendments possible, right? Like, you can't take away any of our rights without having to think about the fact of whether or not we're gonna stand here and stand up and fight for them. And I mean, that's the checks and balances put into the natural society of our nation. That's the very beginnings of it. Because really, when it comes down to it, man's courts and man's laws are really enforced by men with guns, like police officers and, whatever the case might be, right? And once man's courts and man's laws become tyrannical, you have to have somebody on their side to fight back and pull the situation back where it needs to be at, more towards liberty and freedom. And that's the reality of things. So, that's really what it is. So that, yeah, I love these. Look at it. I hate milquetoast white people. I really do. I don't know what to say. It's just so awful to my mental to look at it in this Mitt Romney looking up and just go, man, listen, go back to your country club where you belong. And, if you have no respect for the rest of the citizens of your nation, you probably shouldn't be lecturing us on how to live. It's that simple, because I understand you are a metropolitan individual. We are not. We don't live amongst, the rats and the roaches like you do. We live in the sticks and in the hills and in the mountains and in the suburbs and in, the places where we need firearms because the police don't show up fast enough. We need firearms just to make sure we can feed ourselves if things get hard enough. We're responsible and we take care of ourselves. We don't need the government there to rely upon. Just to rely upon. It is what it is. Anyway, man, look. Tom P's of Pnoid News. You know the situation. Like, share, and subscribe, my friends. Peace be like one. Later.